So let's get started. Let's get started. So first of all, we've got our panel discussion all about current context. Oh, I do apologise. We've officially got our chief executive. Gosh, and I'll hand over to Graham Smith.
Thank you very much, Paula, for the introduction to today's conference. And welcome to everybody. It's a good turnout for our annual conference this year, and I think it's a reflection on the really exciting time that we've had over the last 18 months. A very busy time and a very good time for the Republican movement. We've recruited thousands of new supporters. And gained an awful lot of media coverage and exposure, and have made serious inroads in terms of putting publicanism and this movement on the map. And there's no journalist now that doesn't know we're here. There's no journalist now that isn't coming to us when they've got a story, looking for a quote or wanting to engage with us in debate. The number of people inviting us to debates around the country is going up. And there is really a much stronger sense that we can actually make real progress here. Very pleased to have Zach Barker here in the audience, who is coordinator for the Bristol and West Country group, and he, at the very last minute, joined me as a speaker at a debate in Bath about 2-3 weeks ago. It was a few days after the Jubilee. There was three of us on the Republican side, 3 of us on the other side. About 60 or 70 people in the audience. They took a vote at the beginning, and it was evenly split, 20-something on either side, with about 15 to 20 people who were undecided. And someone else who was there suggested afterwards that the monarchists gave every impression that they thought the Jubilee had already done their job for them. They could just turn up, be rude about us and be polite about the Queen, and they would win. At the end of the debate, they took another vote. The number of monarchists in the audience had gone down, the number of undecideds had dropped sharply, and we won by a wide margin. So this is simply, I think, because we have all the arguments on our side. We also have a great deal of passion. Often people say that it's a matter of emotion on one side versus rationality on the other side. But it really isn't. It's a matter of real passion and energy on our side, and some rather dull and tired and weary arguments on the other side. And they were really just negative. I mean, they were standing up being rude about presidents, being rude about the British people, and just generally being rude. And we were standing up saying, actually we've got something really positive and exciting to say about what we can do in this country in terms of our politics. And in terms of messages, my key message really to Republicans is don't believe all the spin, because all the press. I mean, I was on the TV yesterday with the BBC telling me, why are you criticising the royal finances when the monarchy is so popular, which is a rather bizarre line of argument. But don't believe that they are so popular. The popularity of the monarchy has not moved. There might be an occasional poll that shows a bit of a blip, but after 18 months of solid PR and almost no dissenting voices allowed a strong voice, that 20 to 25% gets maybe 1 or 2% of the coverage. After that kind of coverage, it's inevitable that you're going to see a small, maybe marginal shift in the polling on certain questions. But ultimately, the bottom line is that the monarchy has not improved its popularity, and by September the Jubilee will be long forgotten, whereas the Republican movement will be standing stronger than it's ever done before. So it's all for us to do, and the monarchy has now run out of things to do. They're not going to have a huge party for Kate's baby, I would have thought. Although also we're not going to organise a protest outside the hospital either. Or maybe we can, I don't know. And I guess the other thing is obviously there will be the next things for them to deal with will be deaths, and that sounds a bit morbid. I mean, the monarchy is based on births, deaths, and marriages, and that's their system. They have to live by it, and we have to work around that too. But it has been a great time for Republicans. You have to think back 10 years to the 2002 Jubilee, and Republic was simply not noticed. It wasn't there. There was no serious Republican debate going on, and people, there was a bit of sniping, there was a bit more hostility towards Charles, because it was reasonably recently after Diana's death and all the nonsense that went on around that. But there was no real serious Republican movement as such for people to latch onto. So those people who were Republican, who were getting tired of the Jubilee in 2002, there was nothing for them to latch onto and get involved in and to support. And this year that simply hasn't been the case. It's a completely different situation. So as I said, we've been getting our voice, so we've been challenging the palace and the media, and we are going to be much stronger in the future as a direct result of the voting and Jubilee. Now, thinking about the polling as well, I mean, people have been telling us that, the monarchy has sort of reasserted itself in the public consciousness and everybody loves it now more than ever before. But they're not doing it at all. I mean, if you think about polling and how do you get polling results? You phone someone up or you give them an email to go through to a website and you ask them a simple question: do you think we should be a republic or monarchy? And they're not jumping up out of their chair and cheering on the monarchy whilst they're clicking the button or answering the question on the phone. They're simply asking a simple question. Given a choice about something about which they've probably not given any thought, they're simply saying, well, I'll stick with what we've got. They've not given any thought. They've not seen any reason to change it. They think it's just a little old lady living in a big house that brings them tourists. I mean, that's basically how they see it. And so why get rid of it? Why have something that sounds a bit nasty and foreign? It is our job to get them to think about it. And don't, I mean, we've been accused recently of saying that people are being brainwashed and they're just all sheep. We don't say that, and it's not, we need not to say that, because people aren't sheep and they're not being brainwashed, but they simply aren't being challenged to think about it critically. And they are being persuaded by a very strong PR campaign. That's fair enough. PR works, PR propaganda works, and it works on all of us, one way or the other. And our job, our challenge, is to really put out better PR than the palace, and to strengthen our voice, to make sure that people listen to the arguments, hear the debates, and as we saw in Bath, it does make people change their mind. When you show them that actually there's political issues at stake, when you tell them that Prince Charles has to be asked for his consent before any legislation is proposed to Parliament that affects his private interests, when you explain to them the finances and the abuse of power and privilege and the secret lobbying, when you explain to them the very positive alternative of having an independent head of state who can actually do a job and speak up for us, then people do respond positively to that. So yeah, I mean, don't be perturbed by the fact that 80% or 75%, whatever it is, are saying they want to keep the status quo. That is not the same as saying 80% or 75% love the Queen or the monarchy. And those people that were down at the pageant, whether it's 1 million or 1.5 million or 2 million, depending on which day of the week it is with the BBC, most of those people were down there because it was something to go and watch. It was a bit of a show, caught up in the moment or whatever. There were people down there who were getting very excited about the monarchy and they love it, fine. And there were some other people who joined pro-monarchy organisations. They are in a very small minority as well. So we're two minorities, the staunch monarchists and the staunch Republicans, with a whole load of people in the middle, and that's where the battleground is for the campaign. They're the people that we're fighting over, and we need to do a good job and a much stronger job of persuading them that there is a problem with the monarchy and that a republic is the solution. And again, with the, people talking about the Jubilee, saying 1 million people down in London, 12 million people watching it on TV, and so on and so forth. There wasn't an awful lot else to watch on TV, so it's not surprising. And 1 million people down in London is not acceptable for London. London gets 1 million people to all sorts of things that don't get even a fraction of that coverage. So don't believe for a minute that the whole country was in a state of rapture over the Jubilee. Most of the country was simply getting on with their lives and enjoying it. A long weekend or working or ignoring it completely. We were down there as well on the Tuesday of that weekend, and London was dead. We went down there for St Paul's and Whitehall to do a smaller protest. There were a lot of people down in Whitehall. There were smaller crowds, but reasonable crowds down in St Paul's. You walked away from those areas, it was very, very quiet. And I got the Northern Line back up from Embankment to Angel, and it was empty. I got the train back home afterwards, and again it was empty. Now this is a Tuesday, a weekday, when normally everything is absolutely bustling with activity in London. And again, this is why we challenged this idea that Jubilee, like weddings, was ever going to be good for the economy or for tourism. It was absolutely crippling to London and to Britain, whilst we're trying to get out of a second recession. So I think one of the strong messages of today is that we have every reason to be optimistic. We have a much stronger Republican movement now, and it's going to get stronger with your support and your active involvement, and that is really the theme of today, which is why today we've got two panels of some very key and excellent volunteers who have put in an awful lot of work over the last year or two on a range of different areas of the campaign, because we can only do this with people volunteering, coming forward, whether you're whichever part of the country you're in, and whatever skills you have to offer, even if it's just your time or whatever. It does rely on members and supporters to get involved, and that's how we build a big campaign. It's not going to be done any other way, but it can be done. Do not believe for a minute that this is immovable and we cannot win it. It is absolutely winnable, and we absolutely will win it. And it all depends on you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Graham. And also another point about the Jubilee weekend is that it's estimated that over 2 million people left the country as well. So,